So our topic for today is Rawls law. What's the spelling? Raoults. Raoults. Rawls law. So Rawls law ka lagi, we need to know about vapor pressure. So vapor pressure is already discussed in the previous class. So vapor pressure भनेको के हो? So vapor pressure is basically the pressure exerted by a liquid which is in the vapor state or in the gaseous state when it is boiling, right? But the condition is the liquid has to be in dynamic equilibrium. So dynamic equilibrium matlab the rate of evaporation should be equal to the rate of condensation, right? So for Rawls law, we need to know what vapor pressure is. So we already know about vapor pressure. We already did it yesterday. So vapor pressure, I'll repeat again. Vapor pressure is the pressure exerted by the liquid in the vapor state. So when it is boiling, right? But the condition that needs to be fulfilled is the liquid and the vapor system need to be in dynamic equilibrium, right? So dynamic equilibrium basically means that the rate of evaporation, jati evaporate हुँदैछ, same the rate of condensation should also be the same. So the volume of water that is evaporating should be equal to the volume of water that is condensating, right? So this is the thing you need to know for Rawls law. Okay, now let us start with a simple analogy la. Let us bring about a simple analogy now. Let's say I have a solution, not a solution, let's say I have a liquid in a beaker. Right? It has some vapor pressure. So let's say its vapor pressure is some, let's say Vp. So I have a liquid. I'll present the screen la. 1 second. Yes, bhai. One other way.
That type of solution direct आएको हामी Rawls law मा.
Yes, direct छ त अन्त हामीले अरु सबै गरेको छ.
अरु सबै गर्यो.
Yes. यो स्क्रिन आउँदैछ अहिले? यो आउँदैछ नि white screen है? You're seeing the white screen, right?
हजुर.
Yes. So now what we do is a simple analogy लिउँ हो. Let us consider a simple case. In this simple case, what we do is we take a beaker, or let's say we take a container. So in that container, I put a liquid, right? I put a liquid and I know the vapor pressure of the liquid. So the vapor pressure of a liquid is some value, let's say Vp. Okay. Now, in the same solution, I add a solute. I add a solute particle. It may be a solid, it may be a liquid, it may be a gas, it doesn't matter. So I put like some solute particles in it, which is less volatile, or let's say non-volatile. Forget about less volatile. So it is non-volatile at all, like totally not volatile. So I put particles, solute particles, which is non-volatile. So non-volatile is the substances which like resist changes, right? They don't like easily change into any other state or any other forms. So those are called non-volatile substances, right? So the simple analogy, the simple case here, what I'm making you guys consider is, let's take a beaker, let's take a container. Okay, we have a container and I have like a liquid in it. So there is like a liquid of some volume, let's say 5 liter, 6 liter, let's say 5 liter of a liquid in a container. So I know the vapor pressure of the liquid. So let's say the vapor pressure of the liquid is Vp, right? Now what I do is I add a solute particle. I add solute particles, not a solute particle. I add many solute particles in it, which like basically are non-volatile. So they resist change. Not resisting, they don't like change easily, right? They don't change into other state or change into other form easily. So I add solute particles which are non-volatile to this solvent or this liquid. Now what will happen to the vapor pressure? So vapor pressure 1 is the vapor pressure after I add the solute. So will the vapor pressure be greater than the original vapor pressure, or will the vapor pressure be less than the original vapor pressure? So I add a solute which is non-volatile. So what will happen? Will the vapor pressure increase or will the vapor pressure decrease? Any idea? Any guesses?
Increase.
It will decrease because the
Decrease.
solute is non-volatile. Non-volatile one, it will not undergo any change, right? It will not undergo any change. It will not change its state easily. So it will basically decrease. Since this will not promote anything, like it will not promote vaporizing of this solute, right? It may rather hinder the vaporization of solute, right? Because we know that in a container of water, like if I have a container with water, if this water boils at 100 degrees Celsius, now when I add sugar to it, we can say that this will boil at temperature above 100 degrees Celsius, right? Because like when you prepare tea, the water that is used to prepare tea after putting all the tea leaves and all those things, they boil at a higher temperature. It takes more time to boil, right? Rather than like normal pure water, right? So when you add something, add solutes which are non-volatile, that will subsequently decrease the vapor pressure. This vapor pressure घटाइदिन्छ because the ability to vaporize will be constrained, will be restricted by this non-volatile solute, right? So this is basically what happens when you add a non-volatile solute. So if you go for the opposite case and add a volatile solute, so if I add a volatile solute to the solvent, right? If I add a solute which is like readily changing itself, right? It's readily changing itself. It's readily changing its state. It's turning from liquid to gas in no time. So what happens? So when you add volatile solute to a liquid or a solvent, its vapor pressure will automatically increase because it'll favor the process of vaporizing, right? Because it itself has the property to change, right? So it will allow the property to change of the liquid as well. So when you add a non-volatile solute to a solvent, it will reduce the vapor pressure because it will inhibit the process of vaporization. And when you add a volatile solute to a solvent, it will increase the vapor pressure. So is this clear? Is this concept clear?
Yes, that.
Any doubt? If you have doubts, you can ask me. Okay. So vapor pressure is in relation with, we have a relation of vapor pressure with non-volatile solute, and volatile solute, right? We know when a volatile solute is added to a solvent, it will increase the vapor pressure. When a non-volatile solute is added to a solvent, it will decrease the vapor pressure, right? So when you talk about vapor pressure, right, you just need to consider about the vaporizing property of a liquid, right? So how fast can it vaporize? How much quantity of the liquid can vaporize? The faster it can vaporize, the more is the vapor pressure. So I had told you about that steam engine, right? So the previous class I talked about a steam engine where in place of steam, in place of like water boiling inside, that guy added liquid nitrogen to it. Liquid nitrogen, right? Now he just removed the burner as well because liquid nitrogen like can boil at room temperature. So what happens is liquid nitrogen will have more vapor compared to water boiling at 100 degrees Celsius, right? So because of that, the steam engine starts rotating at very high speed and ultimately causes the thing to break open. So more the concentration of vapor, more the vapor pressure, right? The pressure exerted by the vapor. It's basically the pressure exerted by the vapor of a liquid when it is in dynamic equilibrium. So you should bring about a interconnection that more the vapor of a liquid in the atmosphere, more the vapor pressure of the liquid. Okay, so it'll have more vapor pressure. So will the vapor pressure of water at 80 degrees Celsius be greater than or less than water at 120 degrees Celsius? So which one will have high vapor pressure?
$120 will have higher.
Yes, 120 will always have higher vapor pressure. किनभने at 120 degrees Celsius, water will be boiling at a higher rate than water at 80 degrees Celsius. So at 80 degrees Celsius, it will not be boiling that vigorously. At 120 degree, it will be like vigorously boiling. So that will cause more production of steam, right? Vapors. So that will increase the vapor pressure of the liquid, right? So now we come to the conclusion of all these topics. So we have to conclude all these topics at one particular point, and that particular point is RAOULTS, Rawls law. So Rawls law is a relationship between the vapor pressure or the partial pressure, right, with the mole fraction. mole fraction. So I
The
have
mole
told you
fraction.
mole fraction is, I've told you about mole fraction. I'll revise it again. Okay, what is mole fraction first? So we know that a solution has two components, right? Solvent and solute, right? And let the solvent have a mole of, let's say, mole 1. It has m1 number of moles, and solute has m2 number of moles, right? And the total solution will have m1 plus m2 number of moles. Now the mole fraction of solvent, so let's say mole fraction is denoted by this gamma sign or lambda sign, whatever it's called. So this, let's say, mole fraction of solvent is equal to mole of solvent divided by total mole of the solvent and solute together. So this is the mole fraction. So what is the fraction of the mole of solvent present in the solution? So how much of the mole of solvent constitutes or comprises of the entire solution? So like it's like finding the percentage of something. So if I have if I got like 80 marks out of 100, right? So what percent of your marks is 100? So it is basically 80 by 100 into 100, right? So it is 80%. So you scored 80%, right? So it's the same thing, but only difference is you don't have a percentage here. So you just find the fraction, you don't find the percent. That's why we call it the mole fraction, not the mole percentage, right? So mole fraction is basically the mole of a particular thing, of whatever you want to find. Like if you want to find the mole fraction of a solvent, it will be the moles of the solvent divided by total moles of the solution. That will be the moles of the solvent and the solute combined. Okay, so this is the mole fraction. Now Raoult's law is a relationship between the partial pressure, that is the pressure of either the solvent or solute or the solution. Relationship between, this is called partial pressure of solvent, solute or solution with the mole fraction. So we are trying to relate partial pressure with mole fraction of solvent or mole fraction of solute. Okay, so this is Raoult's law. Okay, so now the basic statement of Raoult's law is the partial pressure of component in a solution is directly proportional to mole fraction of that component. So partial pressure of any component, let's say solvent or solute, will be directly proportional to mole fraction of that component. So त्यो component को कति छ mole fraction? Let's say mole fraction of solvent will be directly proportional to the मतलब partial pressure of solvent is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. So for that you need to find either of these two. You have to either find mole fraction of the solvent or the partial pressure of the solvent. So if you can find either of these two, you can find the remaining component, right? So Raoult's law basically states that, in the book it's given, for a solution of volatile liquids, the partial vapor pressure of each component in the solution is directly proportional to its mole fraction. So the condition also provided is volatile components, which means the solvent and solution both need to be volatile. So for Raoult's law to happen, you need both solvent and the solution and the solute to be volatile. So both of them should be ready to change, right? So the mole fraction, the partial pressure of those components will be directly proportional to mole fraction of that particular component. So this is a very important relation you should remember. So this can be asked in like 2-mark question or 3-mark question in any board paper. It's very probable that this question will come. So what is Raoult's law? Raoult's law says that in a solution with volatile components, the partial pressure of each component is directly proportional to mole fraction of that component, right? So you should be well versed with the definition of this. So this is the condition where the components are volatile, right? So for a solution containing volatile components, the partial pressure is directly proportional to mole fraction. So any doubts, any questions till this point? You can ask me.
Clear छ यो sound.
Okay. So अब अझै clear हुन्छ, like if you try to understand it in a better way. Let's try to understand it. Now let us say I want to find the partial pressure of the solvent. Okay, so this is solvent. Okay, SOLV, solvent. Now, partial pressure of solvent is directly proportional to mole fraction of solvent. That is according to the definition of Raoult's law. Okay. Now, what I assume is, let me assume a constant here because I remove the proportionality sign and put a constant here into mole fraction of solvent. Right, this is solvent. Now let us assume that there is no solute. There is no solute at all. So in the solution, I don't have solute. I just have pure solvent in it. Right, I just have just the solvent in it. I don't have solute in it. Right. So what will be the mole fraction of solvent? Can anyone give a wild guess on this? So if I only have solute in it, so what will be the mole fraction of solvent? Aditya, can you guess?
The constant को value 1 हुन्छ.
मतलब इसको value होइन, constant को value छोड न. I asked you about this. So I'm talking about this. So I don't have solute in the system. Okay, I just have like pure solvent, right? So what will be the mole fraction of that solvent?
1.
1, exactly 1. So P solvent, partial pressure of the solvent will be equal to constant into 1, that is basically constant, right? So now basically we find the partial pressure of a solvent when there is no solute in it, so that will be a constant. So this constant is basically called, it's written as P solvent is equal to P solvent 0 not. So this means that when there is no solute, this constant, the P solvent will be like equal to the partial pressure of the solvent in the pure state. So this is the partial pressure of the solvent in the pure state. You know, whenever there is no solute, it is just the solvent that is taking part in the formation of vapor, right? You don't have anything in the solution except the solvent. So you just have the solvent. So this mole fraction means, mole fraction bhaneko what fraction of the solvent is the solution. So it is basically 1, right? The entire solution is the solvent. There is no solute at all. So matlab this is 100% of the solution. So solute, this solvent part makes 100% of the solution. So what we do is we replace the mole fraction with 1. Because we don't want the percentage, we just want the fraction. So it is 1. So the partial pressure of the solution, or the matlab solvent, will be equal to constant into the mole fraction of solvent. Now we know that this constant is basically the partial pressure in the purest state. So partial pressure of the solvent will be equal to partial pressure of the solvent in the purest state. So this is a thing that will infer from Raoult's law. Is this clear? Or should I explain it again? कहाँ बुझेन यो part? If you have understood, just let me know. If you have not, I can explain it again.
त तपाईले x लाई के भन्नुभएको थियो?
This is mole fraction. This is not x, okay? This
Mole
is lambda.
fraction, lambda तर रेफरेन्स पे x दियो भने पनि lambda
Yes.
यो मोल फ्र्याक्सन भन्नु है.
Yes, mole fraction. So is this clear? Your part 7? Okay, so what we do is we try to generalize this thing now. So how do we generalize this? Now we found that the constant is basically the partial pressure in the purest state, right? So let us assume that there is a solution with A and B. So that these are the two components of a solution. So first component of the solution is A, the second component of the solution is B. Now partial pressure of A will be equal to mole fraction of A into partial pressure of A in its purest state. So is this statement clear, or should I explain it again? So is this statement clear with you?
Clear.
See this?
Not clear.
Is it clear?
बुझ्दा.
I'm just replacing the quantities. मैले अघि I भनेर दिएको थिएँ equation, right? So I had just given an equation in terms of I is directly proportional to that component. So now I'm just replacing the components with B and A.
B.
So mole fraction of B into partial pressure of B in its purest state. So this will be the partial pressure of the two components, right? Now the partial pressure of the solution, that is P of solution, which has two components A and B. So partial pressure of the solution will be equal to partial pressure of A plus partial pressure of B.
B.
So just replace it as mole fraction of A into partial pressure of A at pure state plus mole fraction of B at partial pressure of B at pure state. So this is the partial pressure of the solution. Now you can just confirm whether you like actually understood this or not. So now if there is only A in the solution, this becomes 0, right? Because there is no B. So mole fraction becomes 0. So it will multiply with partial pressure, it will be 0. So now if this is the only thing present, this will be 1, right? And the partial pressure of the solution will be equal to the partial pressure of component A. So that is the thing that I derived there, right? So PS of solution will be equal to P of solvent and the pure state. So that was the thing that I derived in the just 2 minutes ago. So if I have only component A in the solution, beta udaya, so this entire thing will be 0, right? And the mole fraction of A will be 1. This will be 1. So PS, partial pressure of the solution, will be equal to partial pressure of component A in its pure state. So is this clear? Is this like understandable to you guys?
बुझ्नु.
Nice. So if you can understand this, then it's like really good. It's very interesting and very kind of tough as well. So this is the Rolle's law for a solution containing volatile components. So you have both the components to be volatile. So component A is volatile as well, component B is volatile. So what I want you to do is, so for today I want you to derive, so the assignment for today is derive the RAOULTS, Rolle's law pressure equation for a solution containing 3 components A, B and C. So you need to derive the Rolle's law pressure equation. So you need to derive what I derived here, right, for a solution that contains 3 components A, B and C. Okay, so if you have any doubts till this point, just let me know right now. If you have any doubts till this point.
Hello.
Yes, bhai, Mana.
Hello.
Yes, Mana. I can hear you.
Hello. A, B र C मा छ नि.
Yes.
Solute र solvent चाहिँ कुन हो?
I have not specified.
Solute र solvent.
Not specified. It's not told. So anything can be anything.
Wow.
But you don't need to care about it because you just denote the partial pressure as PA, PB, PC, right? You don't need about the solvent and the solute. You don't need to know about which one is solvent and which one is solute. You just need to find the partial pressure, right? So that's fine. Yes, bhai.
दा के गर्नु अरे त्यसमा?
So अहिले भर्खर मैले जे derive गरे नि, P of solution equal to partial pressure of A naught into mole fraction of A plus partial pressure of B naught into mole fraction of B. So I derived this, right? So मलाई यही derivation चाहियो but with C as well. Okay, not that difficult. So if you followed my steps, you can easily come to this conclusion. It's very simple.
त्यति भन्नु?
Yes, यति गर्नु. यो मैले B सम्म गरेको थिएँ. You just need to add C to the thing. You just need to add C to the mix.
दा
Yes, bhai.
अब
हैन, बादमा homework. Submit it by tomorrow. Okay? Tomorrow या the day after, no problem. So is this clear?
अरे नि
Yeah, you can send it भरे पनि easy. केही problem छैन. So is this clear? Partial pressure, I mean Rolle's law. This is Rolle's law only for volatile components, okay? So whenever the components are volatile, अगर एउटा solution मा components volatile छ, so A, B, C, whatever it is, the number of components doesn't matter, okay? It doesn't matter how many components are there in the solution. The only thing that matters is if they are volatile or not. So if they are volatile, this theory will be applicable. You just can use this theory and derive any number.
volatile छैन भने चाहिँ एप्लिकेसन हुँदैन है
Yes,
Not
for
applicable.
volatile there is another topic. So this is like Rawls law first one, where the components are volatile. Okay, and I'll do the second part tomorrow. That is Rawls law for non-volatile components. So when the
Yeah.
components are non-volatile, there is some different derivation. Okay, so this is
Yeah.
the derivation when the when the components are volatile.
Hello?
Yes, bhai.
हेलो
Yes, bhai. Yes,
Yeah.
bhai. Bhana. I can hear you. Yes.
त्यो PS इक्वल्स टु PA त्यो भन्नुभयो नि
Yes, yes.
त्यो के फेरि बुझाइदिनु न नेटवर्क अहिले पुरा त्यो चर्चर भएर आवाज त्यस्तो क्लियरै आएन हौ
ओके सो के हुँदै थियो भने मैले एउटा प्रपर्टी निकालेको थिएँ कि पी अफ एनी कम्पोनेन्ट इन अ सल्युसन इज डाइरेक्टली प्रोपोर्सनल टु मोल फ्र्याक्सन अफ द्याट कम्पोनेन्ट सो पार्शियल प्रेसर अफ एनी कम्पोनेन्ट इन अ सल्युसन सो एनी कम्पोनेन्ट सल्भेन्ट हुनसक्छ सल्युट हुनसक्छ एनी नम्बर अफ सल्युट एनी नम्बर अफ सल्भेन्ट राइट इट्स डाइरेक्टली प्रोपोर्सनल टु द मोल फ्र्याक्सन अफ द्याट कम्पोनेन्ट सो नाउ वाट आई डु इज आई टेक अ सल्युसन जहाँ देयर आर टू कम्पोनेन्ट्स ए एन्ड बी right? So what I do is I just replace the value of I with A. So A is directly proportional to mole fraction of A. P of B is directly proportional to mole fraction of B. So this is what I get now, right? Now I need to remove the proportionality sign. So when I remove the proportionality sign, we'll get a constant. That constant is the partial pressure of that component in the pure state, right? Into mole fraction of A. Then we have partial pressure of B. I remove the proportionality sign, I put an equal to sign, I put a partial pressure of B in the pure state. So this is called PB naught, it's pronounced as PB naught or PA naught. It is the partial pressure of this component alone in the pure state, right, into mole fraction of B. So यति आयो PA हजुर
दा आवाज पुरा क्र्याक हुँदैछ त्यो तल्लो PA देखि बुझाइदिनु न फेरि
यो PA ओके सो वाट आई डु
PA
इज मैले यो प्रोपोर्सनालिटी साइन हटाउनको लागि मैले इक्वल टु लगाएँ प्रोपोर्सनालिटीलाई इक्वल टु बनाउँदा आई निड टु एड अ कन्स्टेन्ट हियर ओके सो नाउ द्याट कन्स्टेन्ट इज पार्शियल प्रेसर अफ ए इन द प्योर स्टेट सो यसलाई पिए नट भन्छ पिए नट विच मिन्स पार्शियल प्रेसर अफ दिस कम्पोनेन्ट इन प्योर स्टेट यो चाहिँ प्योर स्टेट पार्शियल प्रेसर हो
हजुर
ओके फेरि सेम थिङ आई डु हियर आई जस्ट रिमुभ द प्रोपोर्सनालिटी साइन आई पुट अ कन्स्टेन्ट पिबी नट सो दिस इज द पार्शियल प्रेसर अफ बी इन द प्योर स्टेट ओके
एरै देखेको छैन त हौ दा मैले त
यो देखेको छैन यो पार्ट
कहाँ कोड्नु हुँदैछ तपाईँले
ई
ए अँ देखेँ अँ
So this is partial pressure of B in the pure state, right? Now अब हामीलाई के थाहा छ एउटा सल्युसन मैले अघि के अज्युम गरेको थिएँ भन्दाखेरि चाहिँ एउटा सल्युसनमा A र B छ राइट सो पार्शियल प्रेसर अफ द सल्युसन विल बी इक्वल टु पार्शियल प्रेसर अफ A प्लस पार्शियल प्रेसर अफ B राइट हामीले पार्शियल प्रेसर अफ A पनि भेटेको छ B पनि भेटेको छ जस्ट पुट द भ्याल्यु एज PA नट इन्टु मोल फ्र्याक्सन अफ A plus PB naught into mole fraction of P. So this is the answer. अब बुझ्यो तिम्रो होमवर्क चाहिँ के हो भने चाहिँ A र B देखि लिएर you have to do one more component C. Okay? Other than A and B मात्रै होइन. Now you need a third component that is C. So you need to do the same thing for C as well. Okay?
हामीले चाहिँ सी खोज्नु पर्ने अब
सी को लागि गर्नुपर्ने सेम पार्ट सेम चिज विथ सी सो एबीको मैले गरेको छु सो यु निड मैले चाहिँ भनेको छु नाउ यु हेभ अ सल्युसन विथ ए बी एन्ड सी सो यु हेभ 3 कम्पोनेन्ट्स सो यु निड टु फाइन्ड दिस फर्मुला फर 3 कम्पोनेन्ट्स यो त 2 कम्पोनेन्टको लागि हो नि त ए कम्पोनेन्ट बी कम्पोनेन्ट नाउ अझै सी कम्पोनेन्टको पनि चाहियो मलाई द्याट इज यर होमवर्क